My name is Justin Wong.
My name is Victor Whitley, aka Punk.
I'm Aru, or Andrew.
I am Kizzy K.
My name is Arturo Sanchez. I represent Beast Coast and Team Spooky.
My name is Josh. I am the player manager at Panda Global, and we are here today at the Adorama store in New York, running a phenomenal charity event called Panda versus New York. Panda Global is a huge 1v1 esports team. We do a lot of fighting games, Smash Brothers, and we've worked now with Adorama for over a year, sort of promoting charitable tournaments and events for the communities that we serve. We've run, oh my gosh, we've run so many events. We've run Power Ranger fighting games, we've run Killer Instinct, we've run Guilty Gear, Smash Brothers. We've done all sorts of things all throughout lockdown and that sort of era as well. We've done mostly online. This is our first event here in person benefiting City Harvest. We've raised money for over a half dozen different organizations throughout the year that we've worked together, and it's been a lot of fun.
So being part of Panda is awesome just because the fact that it feels like a family, like a friends and family type of thing instead of just like straight to business, because ultimately in the end, obviously I want to make Panda proud, right? In terms of like what I do in terms of content, competing in tournaments, doing work for them. But in general, it's just, we're very friendly to all of each other. And it's like super cool that we don't look at each other as like workmates or employees or anything, but more of just like, we're a bunch of people who loves video games, who wants to do cool things and show the people what we can do.
I definitely love this team. I mean, they first took me in when I was new on the scene, and they the first people that believe in me. So the team holds a special place in my heart, and I love everyone on Panda.
Panda's been amazing. I feel like definitely a life changer team. We have so many like plans that we think like 6-7 years ahead. That's the type of mentality I have. So like being on a team that also thinks a lot of like long-term like plans is like, it's like heaven to me, right? So they've been like very impactful.
Panda's very good. Like, like guys like Punk and Kizzy and Justin, like they're some of the best in the world at their respective games across multiple generations. Justin's from my generation, so he's always been super strong. Kizzy, he's a very strong anime player in general. It's like, he represents Guilty Gear, but there's a ton of anime games in general. He's actually Nerd Josh's roommate, so every time I go to California, I get to see him quite a bit. And Punk, Punk is the loudmouth that backs up with his gameplay.
I just like to play competitively, win or lose. I just like the feeling of going against someone else who might think they better than you, and you being able to just show them that they not. That's like, I live for that. So for me, that's just my greatest part of playing fighting games, just the fact that it's 1v1. So it's just only you and your opponent, and that's really all you can blame is yourself at the end of the day. Most times you just lost because you weren't good enough. So it's way better than having the satisfaction of a team game where you beating other people. I'm just beating one person. I don't have to say my team sucked or anything, or that person can't say they team sucked. They can only be like, damn, bro, you better than me.
We are, of course, originally a competitive team, so I have high hopes for today, hoping to see the Pandas take it across every New Yorker. But New York is a formidable place for fighting games, whether it be Street Fighter, Guilty Gear, King of Fighters, Smash Brothers, doesn't matter. New York has some of the best in the world. And so I have a lot of optimism for the Pandas. We are world-class players, but who knows? We might be surprised by the talent that New York has within it.
It's a goal for today to use Panda as like a step to see how the level of competition is between us and them. For the gaming community in New York is pretty tight.
I think compared to a lot of other fighting game scenes, the New York scene is very, kind of in your face, very unapologetically genuine. So I think I really respect that about the New York scene.
The New York scene, in my opinion, has always been good. They always have a lot of like strong key players that kind of like keep the scene intact. And that's kind of like how I always looked at New York. It's like you find that one person that kind of like holds that game genre down, and like that player usually excels in like great things. I always like playing against like players all over the scene. So like playing New York is actually one of my favorite scenes to play.
The New York scene, as generally power level wise, I would say is one of the most powerful ones in the country. Yeah.
The New York community is super strong. I think it's across the board, not just like one fighting game, but just like overall, there's so many personalities. There's so many people who wants to make like something happen within New York. Like it could be like a modern fighting game. It could be like the retro fighting game community. It could just be even like different games from like MOBAs or like FPS games. They're just here to play, prove themselves and tell people why, you know, this is New York City.
Even if like we're kind of like, you know, ribbing each other, we do genuinely care about each other and we build each other up. We care about the community, we care about each other's performance and all that type of stuff. So I feel like the sense of community here is very strong.
Fighting games mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. I mean, for me, it's a celebration of what we love and enjoy. It's a chance to see old friends as well as new friends. It's definitely something that's very positive. You know, one of the things I like about the FGC is that it's even though they call it the fighting game community, it's actually like a bunch of sub-communities that all support different games, and I really like that about the community.
You know, it doesn't feel weird being Panda versus New York, even though I'm from New York and, you know, born and raised, and now I'm like I'm in Vancouver, Canada now with the family. So I don't really think of it as like I'm betraying New York. It's more of just like, it's the next step of my life, right? I still love New York, man. It's just coming here and just walking around and just like seeing everybody that I haven't seen in years. It was really fun. It really made me feel like, damn, this is home. This is where I grew up. But ultimately, in the end, when it comes down to competition, it doesn't matter if it's New York, Panda versus New York, or Panda versus Panda. Y'all can get this work.
Just seeing like when I stream and stuff, or like when I go to events now, you just like, there's so much love all the time for the players. Like, you know, you're like the fans. I honestly treat you like you're like LeBron James or something. You know, I don't feel like I'm LeBron James, but they'll somehow make you feel that way. You know, I'm just playing video games, pressing buttons. I mean, we all do it. You know, maybe some are a little better than others, but at the end of the day, we all just play video games at first because we enjoyed and loved them. So, you know, it's just crazy that seeing how fighting games have come over this time and pretty much how it's changed my life.
When people think about the gaming community, I think they might have a very specific image of sort of who comprises it. The reality, as we've seen over the last couple of years and as we've seen over the last 7 years at Panda, is that everyone games. Everyone is a gamer in some regard, and everyone benefits when gaming communities get more visibility, when events like the ones we put on here and events that happen around the country have more viewership. There's a love of gaming that permeates all different folks from walks of life, and getting to bring that to as many people as possible with the help of Adorama has been a lot of fun.
I started playing fighting games just because I thought they were fun, right? I didn't expect to do anything like grand or anything with my interest, and I think that this and everything else that you guys are doing here, I think it's really cool.
The one good thing is that when it comes to video games and charities are 100% like a plus. It's something that I've done in the past, Panda's done in the past, and now we're doing it with Adorama, with City Harvest. And I think it's amazing because growing up in New York, you know that it's hard to live in the city. It's not easy to make it in the city, right? So you're gonna have a lot of people that are blessed, that can live their lives as comfortably as can, but there's also gonna be people that probably, you know, have a rough time in life. It's hard for them. And when it comes down to City Harvest, the fact that we can make sure that people are being fed no matter what, I think that's the most important part. And if we could do that with playing video games to raise the cause, we can get rid of that stigma of saying that video games are bad for people, which clearly it's not.
So helping off City Harvest, I would have never imagined doing something like this. If I'll ask 8-year-old me, 8-year-old me would definitely look at me crazy. So this is such an amazing experience in my opinion.
You know, I have a lot of experience with fundraising and raising money for charities, and you know, like it's one of the most positive things about gaming. You know, since these days, like, you know, watching streams, they really feel connected with the players and the people streaming, right? So it's a good opportunity to raise money in general. That's something positive that the gaming community can do.
Honestly, anytime that I'm able to help out any type of organization or just something like, you know, that's just going to help people in need for the stuff, it just makes you feel good. That, and especially if you could do it during video games, it's crazy. You know, we can raise money or, you know, raise food or whatever the case may be. You can just do it by just playing video games, and the viewers, they come in and support the cause because, you know, they like the video games and they want to just, you know, help the people that needs help. So, you know, it's just pretty crazy that you can do something like this and make a change in the world by just playing a video game.
If you're just starting to play fighting games, I think it's really important to learn how to lose with grace, and also to learn how to learn from those losses, because it's It sounds simple, but it's really not. Like, you need to really get good at like breaking down things that happen to you, having an open mind, not just thinking, oh, this only happened because this is broken and there's no counterplay to this. Like, that's the complete wrong mindset, and it's just going to hinder you as a player.
And if you want to get better at video games or just like competing in fighting games, the most important part is making sure that like you look at the matches. Look at your matches in terms of wins and losses. A lot of times people don't want to watch the matches that they lost from, because it's very discouraging. You're gonna say I suck, but ultimately you could see so many flaws in your gameplay that you can correct them in future games and future matches, which makes a huge difference. So, take it with a grain of salt, watch your matches, watch your replays, and just kind of like think outside the box in terms of what can I do better.
It sounds like something everyone would say, but honestly, if you just keep training, never give up, the best way, for me at least, like I just kept playing and I somehow ran into a group of friends that were a lot better than me in fighting games, and I just kind of played with them and I just kind of got better just from playing with them pretty much. So if you honestly just don't give up, you'll probably find that group of friends for yourself that's really good, and they could just push you to the next level, because I think that's probably what everyone needs. You need someone that's going to push you. It's hard to really do it all alone and just like take all the pressure on by yourself and just get better. I think you need that extra push from someone like to give you the motivation to really want to do it.
Don't think so. If you actually want to do it, don't think it's like the first step is you have to enjoy gaming as a whole. Don't just do it because you're trying to make a career out of it. Like, although like things are bigger and there are more opportunities, it's very easy to tell like who enjoys it and like and like who doesn't. So just be authentic and be yourself, and like the money will come after, and like you'll be able to find the niche that you really enjoy, if you truly enjoy the space. It's a labor of love before it even gets to that point.
If you want to get into the gaming industry, I think a good way to do that, particularly fighting games, is to get involved at the local level within your community. If you are contributing like meaningfully to your community, to your local scene, especially here in New York, but no matter where you are, if you're known within your local community, you're gonna be able to maybe leverage that later. Like, hey, I've done this, and this for my scene. I've hosted locals. I've helped new players, or whatever the case might be. You have to show that you're willing to give to the community in order to get something back out of it. That's just how I see it.
To all the kids who are trying to get into this and try to, use this as a chance to get a career and stuff, the best advice I can always say is make sure you believe in yourself before anybody tell you that to believe in you, right? So make sure you really believe this is something that you actually want to do, and be okay with the changes of what you have to do it. It might be very positive, not only for your life, but somebody else's life. And I think it's very important to always keep that in mind if you're going to do something like this.
I would say for advice for, obviously aspiring gamers or people that want to get into gaming, 100% treat it as a side thing at first. Make sure you go to school, listen to your families. Don't quit everything to just play video games. I know video games are super fun, but when it comes down to someone that grew up and put video game as a priority in their life, just know that I had to go through a lot of like hardships and struggles because of that, and I just want to make sure that you guys are in a more comfortable place, because to me, family is always the most important, and making sure that all their, I would say, dedication and hard work and sacrifice that they do for you, just don't let it go to vain, and make sure that big gaming, when it comes to video gaming, it's a second priority until you see some stability in your career.
So as someone who works with the talent at Panda, I get asked all the time, sort of what do I do to level up and become this sort of higher level of content creator gamer? And the reality is, you have to always keep focus on everything you're doing. You can be a great competitor, but have no digital presence. And you always want to work on that digital presence. Your Twitter, your Twitch, your YouTube, keeping everything multifaceted. You can be the best in the world, but if no one wants to watch you play, that's an issue. You're gonna find some roadblocks in your path to becoming an esports athlete or an esports star.
So these days we have amazing social media. Like, back in the day it was kind of underground, so you had to like really know what forums and what websites to go to. Now we have like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. It's like, although everybody's talking to each other online, these are all real communities that you can connect with. and like meet people in person, make friends.
Shout outs to all the people who always support me. Shout outs to Panda, of course. Thank you, Adorama, for this opportunity as well. I appreciate all and every last one of you guys. We are going to work harder year by year. So what you see now is only going to get better. So thank you guys.
All of this was possible, this huge Panda versus New York thing, because of Adorama and because of MSI for providing all the equipment. And I just want to express a huge amount of appreciation to everyone involved, players, sponsors, the Adorama crew here. If you like what you've seen here today, this is a brand new YouTube channel. Please go on down, hit subscribe, hit like, ring the bell, all that good stuff. Anything to do to support a growing channel, we appreciate it.